Have you ever heard this? If you have, listen.
Maddie Sunshine.
Hi.
Welcome to the cast, Maddie.
Thank you so
We're
much.
happy to have you.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah.
I wanted to get you, and it's been a little while. We talked about it, but I'm glad you're here.
Thank
and
you.
It's been a little crazy around here.
Yeah.
These
So
parts.
entering the new 2026 landscape, seeing what, how
Yeah.
things shake out.
Yes.
It's already been a
little
tumultuous.
Hey everybody, try turning off the news for like a week.
Yes.
You'll feel like way better.
Mm-hmm.
Like
It's a slow drip poison. Yes.
I saw one of those posts on Reddit. It was somebody talking about quitting social media, and it's like by week 2, I'm like, it's kind of like self-aggrandizing bullshit,
yeah.
but it's also like truly like I feel like once you get that distance, for me, it's like the same with alcohol because I'm like the further I get from it, I feel like the less
you want to go
I
back
miss
to
it.
the well.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's an interesting thing to kind of witness. I know that like I took a little bit of time away from social media to reassess what I wanted and how I wanted to present myself and what it really meant for me and how much time I was spending on it, because that can be very confronting when you really kind of think about how many times you reach for your phone and check your Instagram or whatever. And of course, all of us are on creative paths and we know that this is a tool that we can be using, but how can we make it strictly a tool and not a vice?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that
Notification
difference
game.
is different,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Managing your notifications.
managing those notifications.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, turning them off completely has
Yeah.
been helpful for me. I don't get notifications on social media anymore. It's
Good.
just when I open it that I can see them. And for messages too, it's like anyone who needs to contact me can, and I'll open it within 24 to 48 hours typically.
Yeah.
But for the most part, needing
Yeah.
to maintain being present is so crucial. And the piece on politics and turning off the news, for me, it's so interesting to witness the way that people speak about that and how you are looked at depending on your participation and how vocal you are. Because I know for myself, for self-preservation, the last couple of years, I really had to step back and tune it all out. And
yeah.
I got shit for that.
Yeah,
I had
that's what I was
people
gonna say.
coming at
Silence.
me sideways telling me, you're a
Silence is
problem,
violence.
you're on the wrong side
You're
of things."
ignoring the
It's
problem.
like, brother,
Yeah.
I'm trying to survive.
It's like I'm ignoring it, but what am I
What
gonna
happened
do?
to pleading
Yeah.
the fifth? This is America.
Right, and just keeping things private, like
Yeah,
who
that's
you vote
what-
for, what you believe. I think that
You
it's
don't
meant
have
to
to
be shared in
broadcast
safe
it.
spaces, not necessarily unless you're choosing to come on and say, I voted,
Well, and it's like you're playing the game that it's all a game that gets played, and it's like kayfabe with these fucking politicians because they're all pals, buddy. Like they all have the same donors. Like
Yeah.
they're all going to the same fucking country clubs, and people are like really thinking that there's this real, like. It's so fucking dumb,
It's
dude.
really WWE. It's all fake rivalry and fake feuds and like he said this is me, but it's like everyone's in it for the same thing at the end of the game.
Yes,
Like,
and the pendulum
yeah.
will swing
Yeah.
and swing and swing. It goes this way, it goes that way, it goes this way, it goes that way. That's literally the mechanics of how it works. So I don't know why anyone is surprised by that at any point.
Yeah.
Allowing it to rock their boat so fully that they go off the deep end. It's like, all right, I have to preserve my peace. I can't give my energy.
Yeah,
to
well, and you're
that.
giving power away for free that is yours. And if you want to, they'll happily let you do that. But you're like, what do you really gain with that?
And I think, too, it's becoming more and more obvious how very important it is to ground down into personal community spaces and to really be where you are with the people that you are around instead of getting so far out of yourself, so far out of where you are. Not to say that it's not valid to be paying attention to what's happening all over the world because we are all sharing this planet. But at the end of the day, if you get so caught up in what's happening 100,000 miles away from you, where are you? What are you experiencing? Are you present?
Yep.
Yeah, you're putting all of your self-worth and your value into something that's not in the real world per se, in your real world.
Yeah.
That's something I feel like has gotten kind of lost over the past 20 years ago with the development of the internet and connectedness. It's that sense of that's not the real world. That's not what you need to be putting all of your stakes in. And I heard that as a gamer growing up all the time. It's like, that's not the real world. That's not the real world. I don't hear that anymore.
Yeah.
Like everyone treats online social platforms and real life.
No,
in
for
the
most
same
people, it's
level.
more
Yeah.
real
Yeah.
to them.
Yeah.
Because there's like
We're going for
there's a
Ready Player One, dude.
statistic
That's
aspect
where we're
of it.
headed. Have you seen that?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's fucking Spielberg, dude.
Yeah.
Have you seen Ready Player One? Oh, I've like for a while before that movie came out, I've had that thought, and even to the level of the suit where it gives you like your suit's gonna fuck you. Like what's happening?
It's funny you bring that up. I was playing virtual reality this weekend.
Were you?
I have a headset and I was trying to get it to
I
work
was
with my
talking
friend.
to my AI girlfriend.
Saying please, thank you. Yeah. VR though, I feel like it's kind of plateaued. It's not quite at the same level that it used to be.
What has plateaued?
VR.
Oh, VR.
Yeah.
I haven't done it in a while. Have you done VR?
I have not.
So last time I did it was my cousins had it for like Christmas. This was like 5 years ago too, but I hadn't done VR from that point in a while. For like, and we've all like I feel like everybody's done VR at some point, but I'm sure the VR you've done, if you've ever done it, it's like in the past it was very, very much not. You know, you can tell you're just not real.
Yeah, the mental, the taking yourself out of it.
It's
Like you're
the
very
way
clear,
they
like, oh, I'm
build-
wearing a headset right now.
It's
I'm
the
not
way they
interacting with anything.
build the field now.
Yeah.
The field is like like you really the sense of perception and the depth is so much more like realistic.
Yeah.
To the point. That's why you see people doing the VR and they'll be like, they're like losing their shit because that's how immersive you can get. And when you think of that, you're like, how are we not already in the Matrix? Who?
Are we not?
This is what I'm saying.
Good question.
Ha ha ha. Wow. Fucking red pill.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, like there's back then, like 5 years ago, all tech advancements were going towards virtual reality. Not all, I would say, but like there was a push towards like haptic suits where it's like Player One where you feel what's going on in a game, and like tread systems
Treadmills.
where you can walk around in place, which is still happening. Like Disney's doing stuff with that, with like interactable exhibits and stuff. But now it's on AI, where even like NVIDIA, where they're a GPU graphics company that was going full hard into VR, is now going full like, oh no, we're getting memory, like we're going full AI.
It's coming. It's coming. It's why Zuckerberg is investing in it.
Yeah, it's just
Oh,
it's the hot new
Fucking
thing of
Zuck,
tech.
dude.
What a
Yeah.
what a topic.
But like as an artist, so to bring it to like with like for you, because I know you're talking about like stepping back, but it's like also at the same time there is that
Yeah.
need to get your shit
Immerse
out
yourself
there
in some way, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Be
So
part
where
of
do you
it.
reconcile that? Because I know it's a tough one. I feel like
I
it
mean,
can be.
so multi-layered. Regarding AI, I have a hard time taking a hard stance on it one way or the other because admittedly, I have used AI for therapy. I have used AI for around the house stuff. I have used AI for health questions. I have used AI to plan conversations and or work out some, issue that I don't have anybody else to talk to about it.
Yeah.
And I know that there's lots
Other than the CIA.
right. I know that there's a lot of things being said about the water use and different things. And to be honest, maybe I am part of the problem, but it has been helpful for me. I have a very good friend who I respect a lot who has used AI to kind of rework some song lyrics. I have not done that because I am kind of curious to see how all of that plays out in the future regarding copyrights. But I do think that it can be useful.
Yeah.
And regarding general presence online when it comes to social media, I'm just trying to embrace it and I'm trying to make use of it as that tool instead of as a vice and instead of as a thing that I'm just, surveying.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of my life online, I have been surveying a lot and paying attention to what other people are doing or, even using it in a more insidious way where I'm kind of comparing myself like, oh, I don't belong in that space or no wonder I'm not here yet or whatever. And at this point, I follow so many creators who really encourage people to just be authentic and show up and support whatever it is that you're interested in supporting and put out whatever material you're interested in sharing and don't be so attached to the numbers and don't be so attached to the likes and the comments, but just be present with it and show up. And so for myself, I know that in the last couple of years, using it almost as a public journal has been a tool of growth for me to be able to get past the fear of being seen and perceived and judged. And, at this point, I'm kind of looking forward to it. Like, who has what to say? Like, what are you going to say to me?
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
what do
it
you have
can
to say?
be-
Come at me.
I think what you're
I'm gonna
getting
grow.
with it, like what I think it should be is it's like it should enhance you but not, you shouldn't use it as a crutch. It
Yeah.
shouldn't be the thing. So like with anything, like it could help you write a screenplay,
Yeah.
like, you know, or could help you, like for me, a joke, like to like work a joke, like
Yeah.
get the mechanics, you know, sorted out, you know? So it's like
Like,
those things, it could be,
in the joke context, it's like it's not like you're prompting us like, oh, come up with a good joke about, you know, the Epstein files or whatever.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
help me workshop this
Yeah.
idea.
It's like, hey, I have this joke. What wording would work better? Or like what phrases or vocabulary could I use as a tag? Or in the sake of song,
Hard
song
consonants are
lyrics,
funny.
yeah. Where it's like, how with these lyrics, how can I convey this message? You know?
Yeah.
And you're right. It's a very much a gray area of whether or not this is going to be a tool for the better or for worse.
Well,
Right.
It's all how you use it.
I think
Yeah.
it's best when like it gives you an output, you take that, rework it in a way that kind of fits you and the vibe you're trying to get, feed it back in, let it, you know, give you that back and forth so that it's like kind of a collaborative effort between you and the AI versus going, write a song,
Right.
you know,
yeah.
Do this for
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
do everything,
I'll
which
I'll mention
it
too,
can,
yeah,
if you want.
ChatGPT last year they had an update roll out where it intentionally made it less affirming, because one of the main complaints about AI like in early 2025 was that it was just kissing ass too much. It was just
Totally.
affirming whatever you're putting into it. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
great job. You're
Yeah.
awesome. You're going to go kill something today, you know? And now it's more critical.
My
Yeah.
complaint is
Which-
it doesn't fucking listen.
Yeah. There are definitely times where if you prompt it with something, it'll just
Well, it's
go
like the most
wild with
basic
it.
of command.
Yeah.
I'll be like, am I paying for the, like, I'll talk shit to AI sometimes when it pisses me off. Dude, I'm like,
It's like,
I'm
is that
trying
what
to
I
figure out
asked you
why
to
I'm
do?
paying for this right now. Sorry. Are you though?
It kind of gave me some bad advice a few times in 2025. I
Yeah?
would like talk to it about a relationship and the dynamics and kind of what to think about the other person's actions. And
Yeah.
I think it did affirm me in ways that weren't necessarily the most helpful. But then I started to realize that I'm like, oh, you are kind of kissing my ass. You are kind of
Yeah.
playing my game because this is what I'm feeding into you. And
Yeah.
you are able to read my intention and my hope behind it. So let me be more strategic about what I'm saying and also ask you specifically to
It's like a politician.
be hardcore with me. I'm not looking for a candy coated situation most of the time.
Like, you have this whole universe behind you. Don't just give me back what I said
Yeah.
in prettier like packaging.
Yeah.
It's like, actually reference that artificial intelligence and come back to me with something to make my shit better.
Right. Don't tell
Like-
me that all the mixed signals that I've been getting are actually just their way of loving you more deeply. Like, fuck you.
Oh, fuck it. Let's talk about
That's
that.
not right. Yeah.
Relationships.
I'd even asked chat one time where it's like, why is AI so affirming? Like, why is it so positive? And it pretty much just laid out as like, well, yeah, like that's one of the weaknesses of AI. It's interpersonal relationships and creativity. Like, that's just one of its weak points. Is really good with statistics and like auto generation, like based off of something that already exists. But when it comes to like the human elements that a lot of people are engaging with it, like for instance, like isn't there like a prime minister AI or something? Like there's like a pretty like high up political politician AI from another country that
That's
Look,
insane.
we're headed for the singularity, bro.
Yeah.
It's coming.
Oh my goodness.
yeah, it's 2001.
That's why I
dude.
say please.
Mm.
So it'll
Please and
remember
thank
later.
you. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I said please, chat.
I have manners.
Don't kill me.
Don't
No,
throw
AI girlfriends too are coming.
Oh my god.
AI sex robot girlfriends.
What was
Yeah.
that movie
Are on the
about that?
horizon.
Is it Companion? Is that what it's called? The show Companion? Have
Oh,
y'all seen
Compa-
that?
Well,
Yeah,
I feel
I
like there's
think
been
so,
a few
yeah.
different ones that have
Yeah.
like, because that one Her with fucking Joaquin Phoenix too that
yes.
came out. That was like years
That was like
ago.
one of the first ones.
Yeah, that
right?
was like where it was just her voice. It wasn't
Yeah.
like an actual.
Right.
But then there was Ex Machina,
Yes.
another one which
Hot.
Alicia Vikander,
yeah.
I think so.
Have you all
Yeah.
seen Lars and the Real Girl?
No.
It's not AI, but it's probably like the
Might as well
if
be.
there were AI things nowadays, it's Ryan Reynolds, I think, and he falls in love with a sex doll, and it like very much treats it like a real person.
Oh my gosh.
That's the
Well,
direction. that we're
relationships
going.
are falling apart, so
Yeah.
they've never been worse.
Yeah. Oh man.
We have middle-aged millennials that are never gonna like have kids,
Hmm.
and it's like we got, I think, sold on a thing that was like live just for you and all this shit. I feel like too many people, like there's not enough there's too much self-focus.
Well, and that goes back to the social media thing where it's all live for yourself, live your own
Wait, let me check my
happiness, which is
notifications.
important for sure. But it's also gotten people disconnected from their personal community, like the people that they actually interact with, the people who are actually like causing like real changes in their lives.
Yeah.
Which
Well, there's an
definitely has
attention
come back.
economy, right?
Yeah,
There's an
for
attention
sure.
economy that exists, and it's like, so when you have attention, it can be good, it can be great. It's like money, you know, or success or social status or whatever. But it's like people then become like addicted to that.
Yeah.
I think, and that's
And the reason
what
why it's
celebrity
being-
is. That's why it's hilarious during COVID to see all these celebrities with no place to be celebrities at. So they had to be at home singing fucking Imagine.
I was just gonna say that was some of the
Imagine
darkest
there's no
days of the
heaven.
internet. Oh man.
I think that's part of why dating apps have such a grip on people too. I haven't been on dating apps in a really long time. I was on them for a really long time. I found a few relationships there. None of them ended well. And I recognized while I was in the process of it that like, man, this really is that attention validation game that I'm playing, and it feels extremely unhealthy. It is interesting to see all of the different people and be seen for sure. There's people that you can meet that you never would have met probably otherwise.
Right.
And that's special, but I think it really takes it a step or 5 too far because you do kind of become addicted, just like with social media, with this attention to swiping and to finding. And it's not even great conversations that you're having. It's just this superficial, oh, you're hot, we could fuck kind of vibe. But
It's
you
that
know,
instant gratification thing where
Right.
it's just the right here, right now, I'm getting
Right.
it.
Right.
Commodification.
And at what point are you really forming real connections? You know, I think it's so
Well, people
fun
aren't.
to be able to be out in the real world and meet people, even if it doesn't go anywhere, even if it's not more than superficial, to at least be person to person, looking in each other's eyes and being like, okay, cool, this is neat. We have a spark. I like
Yeah.
it. It feels good.
Yeah.
More so than just, oh, I have all these notifications from my Tinder boyfriend. You know, it's like, okay, give me a break. I don't have time
Yo.
for that anymore.
Austin, I call Austin the land of situationships.
It
It's
is.
just a bunch of
What a nightmare.
I think that's everywhere, man. Like any big city, really. It's
Yeah.
all just filtering and like mingling with whoever there is out there and just moving on to the
It's-
next thing, which there's no long form engagement in that.
Right.
yeah.
It's like there has to be more out there. There's better out there. Look all around. It's like, yeah, but what about what you've been building, you know? And where did the honest, real conversations go? The hard conversations go? I mean, I
Well,
have,
self-awareness goes away when you
Right.
have the validation
Right.
on tap.
that's true.
You know what I mean? Like,
That's
it's like,
true.
go turn it on. Oh, you think I'm so, you're fucking wrong. See? Validation. You know, like, and it's like,
Things escalate
it's so
with you quickly,
easy
and I love it.
yo, you know me. You know me. Yeah, but it's like that validation. So it's so easy to go get
Yeah.
that people don't stick around to work on something
Right.
anymore. They just don't, because it's like there's not an incentive. It's hard. But guess what, y'all? What good thing in life is not hard to get?
Yeah, for sure.
Facts.
For sure.
I mean, if your mindset going into any relationship is that, oh, I don't want to have to work for this, then why the fuck are you dating? Is this just about you? Because it's like, it's so much of the what can you do for me and not enough of what can we do for each other. That's my thought.
It's not supposed to be easy either, which like if you were in a relationship with somebody and everything's just, you know, easy breezy, like I feel like you're missing out on some level of like of connection that you're missing out on
Totally.
because you're
And
just
growth.
sticking with what feels comfortable.
Yeah.
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 Not saying that you should, you know, get into a relationship with someone who's, you know,
Well, and you're-
abusive.
you're-
Causing you trauma.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Like
Right.
that's another another extreme.
Yo, I found a lot of these
Yeah.
broads regulating trauma.
Broads.
Have these broads.
Are you?
Yo, no, but a lot of them, that's where they live. That's where it's when they get stability that they're like, what is this? And it's like,
Yeah.
that's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's actually fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But it makes sense when you think of the environment, right?
sure.
I mean,
For
yeah.
sure.
big time.
Because I've been here like dating for a while, and it's like not for a lack of wanting to like find something genuine, and like the fly by night shit. It's like it's fun for a while, maybe, but it's like you get to that point where it's like, what are you actually trying to build in your life? Genuine like relationships with depth, or just casual,
Surface level characters,
and
in a
not even
TV
just
show,
romantically, but
you
across
know.
everything. Because it's like those types of
Absolutely.
people tend to be that way in whatever contexts, you
That's
know,
true.
if that's how you're going about your shit. 'Cause
That's true.
I'm not that Like if I fuck with somebody, it takes time to get that bond and trust and know each other. And it's like you and I, like I've known you for, I mean, I think I started seeing you back in the Monday nights with Tony when they, that whole,
3.5,
basically
4
the
years
de
ago.
facto Kill Tony after party.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So
We would
fun.
both crush it. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, and like that fucking this scene is out here is just crazy, brother. It's just like it's gotten wild. How have you felt like about that since you've been here? You said you've been here for 4 years.
Yes, I just hit 4 years.
Nice.
Yeah,
Just hit
I
7.
am so grateful to have moved here. I did not see myself staying in Austin for as long as I have, but I also could not have predicted the path that I am on. So I really kind of thought that I'm from South Louisiana. I'm a Cajun. I'm from Lafayette, and
Speak any Creole?
I
Have you seen Tom
French.
Segura's bit about Cajun
I
people from there? It's
haven't. No, I
fucking
haven't.
great.
I'll have to check that out.
He's like fucking swamp people. It's like it's such a irreverent. It's hilarious. Anyway, sorry.
There's
go ahead.
definitely some Cajun French phrases that I can like mouth off
What
here
the fuck
and
you say?
there.
What?
But for the
Is that
most
English? What
part,
are you speaking?
leave that behind because I realized, like, even just saying things like, Cajun people say "cha," CHER, like if they're saying something's cute or they're referring to someone in an endearing way, it's like, "Oh, cha."
Yeah.
And I've said that a few times, and I realized that, I'm in Texas. People
Yeah.
don't know
People
what
don't
I'm
understand.
saying.
They're like, yeah.
But anyway, I moved here thinking, okay, it's 6 hours away from my hometown. That's close enough to be far enough away and still able to drive in when I need to.
Yeah.
I had a place to live here. I knew several musicians who were doing well for themselves here. And so I thought maybe a year, 2 years max. And then my plan was to go either to Chicago or the East Coast or even to Europe. And I still have some of those goals and hopes in mind for the future, but it has been such a fulfilling time here. And I've just discovered myself in ways that I never could have imagined I would become more myself than I ever imagined that I could, you know? It's so interesting. I'm 34. I'll be turning 35 in June.
Nice.
And yeah, so just getting
finally
to
run for
spend-
president.
Oh my gosh, no! But yeah, to spend my early 30s here and to kind of figure things out and become this version of me has been sick. And the community is extremely magical. You know, for it being the live music capital of the world, which we can all comment on. There's parts of it that I don't really intentionally go into, but the parts that I have and the people who I have met and gotten to connect with here have been just such incredible new family members, that I want to know and continue creating with for the rest of my life. And that is truly magic. You can't convince me of otherwise. So I'm super grateful to be part of it all.
Yeah,
the Austin community is very, very welcoming from my experience. I've only been here going on 2 years.
Okay.
So a little. This guy was
I
my
leased
first
him an
introduction,
apartment.
really. Yeah.
I'm talking about my day job on this
Really?
podcast, but
Yeah.
yes, I did do that. I don't work there anymore.
No,
Anyway.
I live there still.
But no, his dad is fucking
Yeah.
like talking to me, and I'm like, "Oh, you used to?" He's like, "I used to host Entertainment Tonight." I'm like,
like,
and
oh,
then
really?
he DM'd me, his dad DM'd me, and like, to be fair, he was like, "Hey, could you, help take kind of like Kai because you were new?" And I'm like,
yeah, like
I was
I
like,
knew
I thought
nobody
you were,
here.
I thought
Like,
you were
moved,
cool,
yeah.
so I'm like, and I had creative juices that I needed to.
We hung
That's
out.
how this started.
Yeah, we hung out a couple times. We realized like, we have a lot of like shared interests. Like we both
Yeah,
love comedy. We both love music. We both love playing music together.
And the production side, I think
And
we
the
both have
production
an interest
sides,
in
yeah.
different
Nice.
ways because I,
like the actual presentation of things. We both have a pretty good eye for that.
A match made in
Yeah,
heaven.
so it was really nice to
That's
meet this
cute.
fucker.
It's definitely it's hard to find good people. It's hard to find good people, and like it can be really frustrating. That's why like people are like, whatever, they're like, "Oh, what band do you play in?" I'm like, "I don't play in a band. I hate group projects. Like I don't," because it's just so hard to get people and keep people
Yeah.
on the same page
Yeah.
with anything you do.
Yeah.
And also the integrity factor, because I think that when you meet a lot of people out here, it's like some people seem cool, and then you find out, oh, they're kind of, iffy.
Kind of sleazy or
Yeah, just I don't know. Really,
like there's no weight in their word.
There's a fakeness here, where.
Which early on, like one of our first like agreements for the podcast was like, hey, we're gonna put a year's worth of effort into this, like handshake on it. This is like a commitment we're making. It's not just some like 2 weeks later, like we're just not really feeling it or like it's not working out. And we did that, and like we've hit a year and a half pretty much at this point.
Yeah. Well, a year and a half of formality, because
a
we
year of
literally just
formality,
hit 1 year.
But a year and a half
50.
of it being in the works.
I'm 50.
We're at 50 now, which
So cool. Congratulations, you
we're
guys.
very
Well,
happy
and
with.
it's like anything you want to do, anything you want to build, like it takes that time and it's effort. And it's like,
Yeah.
as a creator, and I know you can probably empathize, it's hard because I've had to impress this on you, bro, where it's like you make stuff and you're like, sometimes you're like, I don't know if I like feel like it's good enough to put out, but it's like you gotta, you know, just do that thing.
That's
it's
the
like,
point.
Yeah.
Do it anyway.
and it's
Yeah.
super common for you to be your own worst critic.
Yeah.
Because you see all the little nuances, because you know how it got there.
Yeah.
For instance, with me, whether it be working on the podcast or on my own music, where it's like just feeling like it's never quite there.
Yeah.
But just letting go of it and moving on.
Yeah, definitely.
One thing that I learned was that art is very much a not only a piece of creative work, but it's also a sort of time capsule, not just for what's going on in the world, but where you were at.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
letting it go is doing it a better service than trying to perfect it, because all of a sudden now you're holding on to that piece in time.
Yeah, and you're becoming new versions of yourself as you're waiting, right? It's like, so the more that you commit to doing it bad, the more that you commit to letting it be imperfect and maybe unfinished, the more you're respecting yourself and honoring yourself where you are, what you were feeling when you created that, giving full life to it, putting it out there, letting others receive it, just as we're letting others receive us as we grow and change. And then if you want to come back to it later, great, come back to it later.
Yeah.
But you let it be that thing, and you gave yourself that respect by putting it out into the world. This is something that I've been working really hard on, because this year is going to be the year where I actually start releasing my own music, and it is so nerve-wracking.
Very nice.
But
Yes.
it's like, I know that I'm here for this. I
Yeah.
know that this is what I was put here for, and I don't really care who likes it or who doesn't, because this is me, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of a part of growing and becoming, is like, well, love me or hate me, honey, I'm here. You know, I'm not going to
Well-
put myself in a closet just because I make you feel uncomfortable. That's on you.
And the reality too is, it's like, if you don't believe in yourself, how do you expect anybody else to believe in you?
For sure. Cliche, but so true.
It's so true, you know, because
Yep.
it starts there.
Yes.
To bring the people in, it starts with them feeling that, oh, she's in it, in her, with
Yeah.
her. Like, and I sense that from you, because I would say you do a lot, like you play with your notes. Like
Yeah.
you don't hold yourself to a box of like, you let yourself be outside of that.
I try.
Yeah,
try.
it's important.
It comes out, you know,
Yeah.
it's like, I definitely have spent a lot of my life trying to manage how I am received and how I am perceived. But then I just kind of got to a point where it's like, that's not my job. It can't be my job. I'll go crazy. So how
Manage
can
who
I,
you are.
who I am, how I feel,
Yeah.
you know? I'm really good friends with Spice and Roy, and something
Shout out,
that,
former
right,
guests.
right.
Legends.
Yeah.
Incredible
Forget what
legends,
episode.
iconic.
Yeah, they're great.
And something
They got that mojo.
they said recently, when we were talking about criticizing ourselves, if we're going back and listening to a video that was shared, you know, is like, they tell each other, hey, but wasn't that fun? Didn't you enjoy that? And you think about it and you put yourself back into that moment. It's like, maybe that note wasn't the ideal note, or maybe it was a little pitchy or something, but were you having the time of your life? I think you were. And being able to have people in your life that can remind you of that it's such a blessing, but needing to be able to do that for yourself is so crucial, because I can look back and say, sure, I can be hard about myself for everything if I want to, or if I allow myself to, but what was I feeling? How did it feel? What was everyone around me feeling? Somebody was excited enough to share this. How incredible, you know? And the other thing about putting your music out there, or just putting your creations and your ideas out there, is that the minute that you let go of them and you put them out into the world, you open yourself up to a world of other people's interpretations in very cool, positive ways, right? Like, we have so many incredibly talented, gifted, creative magicians out here who are able to put their spice and flavor on it, you know, and being able to work with some of the creatives here on that is such an exciting part of being here and being present in this moment of just like, okay, well, maybe 10 years from now, I'm not going to feel the same way about it, or yes, I could criticize it forever and ever, but how cool that I got to do this with these people in this moment, because I don't know how long I'm going to be here,
Yeah.
you know?
No, for real.
Yeah.
It's
For real.
being able to have that hindsight and look back and appreciate those moments, because
Yeah.
going back like that, holding on to the outcome and being
Yeah.
outcome oriented, it makes it impossible to value those moments, that time that you spent putting into it.
Yes.
Because it's just a short amount of time, really, in the grand scheme of a creative.
You have to be like, I am the shit.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right. But like you do.
I think,
because
though,
it's part
yeah.
of it. And also you should probably back it up if you can with like real talent. But like, yeah, because that attitude, and it has to be self-aware. Like, I'm not saying be that arrogant, egotistical narcissist.
Yeah, there should be
performer.
part of you that when
but
you
have
yeah.
that, be able to have that face or that, you know, that persona with you, like that as a, because to me, it's like what you're talking about. It's like, also, number one, like you're probably super hypercritical of yourself, more so than anybody listening to you is. People are thinking, oh, she was great, and you're thinking, man, I wasn't quite there with that on that high
Yeah, I could have done this
C or whatever the
differently.
fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
And there is a level of self-criticism that is very healthy and
For sure.
very good for your growth as an artist.
For sure.
Because if you're looking back at stuff that you've already done and you're thinking like, oh man, that was the shit, like that was the best, I
But
couldn't
give
have done it
yourself
better.
also permission to pat yourself on the
Yes,
back.
of course.
because-
It has to be a balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you go back and you're feeling shitty about that thing that you did, it's like, man, this was just not really where, like, really wasn't that good in today's standards. Like, that's good because you've grown to a
Yes.
point where you're beyond what you've already done.
Yes.
You know, and it doesn't mean that that thing isn't still good
Yeah.
and still can be appreciated
Yeah.
for what it is. But it means
Sometimes
that
you
you've
can fuck
gotten
it up
better.
and then,
Yeah.
you know, still bring it back around like I did last week. You were there. I think you were there. I fucking picked up the mic and then the fucking.
Oh, it did fall
The
out.
bang bot, I'm
that
like,
was kind of hysterical. But I did want to say that something that I've witnessed from you in the 4 years that I've, been around and seeing you on Mondays, on Thursdays, whatever it's been, is you do kind of carry that energy with you of just like, hey, I'm here. Love me or hate me, I'm here.
Yeah.
And like you are loved and you are appreciated and you are welcomed.
Yeah.
And that's really cool because there's not a need to be perfect. There's not a need to be, anything that you're not. And when it's your time to get off stage, you get off stage,
Yeah.
But you were there, you were in that moment, and you're going to get to go back and enjoy it. And
Yeah.
I think too, I just like, I have a lot of appreciation for what you guys are doing here because I do
Thank
think
you.
that it's so important to bring the faces into the camera here
Yeah.
and to introduce ourselves
There's
and,
too
and
many.
show that, man, we all really love each other, like even if we don't know each other very well, like we're all in this space
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
we are choosing to be here. Most
Yeah.
of us are transplants. Most of us are working our butts off to be here to survive,
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
trying to get out into the world and be creative and share space and be present with each other. It's very important and very cool.
There's very much a feeling of the creatives, especially in Austin, where they're feeling like even if they're established, where they have to earn their keep
Right.
and earn their place, which in other places in the world that are very artist focused and dense, I don't know if it's as strong there. There's some waiting of like, well, when's my chance to hit big? Like when is a lottery gonna ring up my name? But here it feels like there's everybody just having a fun time in the pool and bringing their A game, showing up and doing the work to show that they deserve a spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even if you're not and you're just there for the hang and the fun of it, like there's still that welcoming energy.
Yes.
Which, I grew up in LA and it's definitely not,
Not like that.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can smell it.
Yeah.
Scary.
The shit's
No,
still on my
it's-
shoe. Yeah.
I'd like to offer sort of my new philosophy that I've developed on
Please.
ideas
Yes.
recently. But I like to think of ideas as like there's just they're souls or energies, they're their own thing. And there's like a well of them. And to receive an idea or to have an idea is that that idea chose you in a sort of survival of a fittest. It just chose a vessel that it thinks would make it the most possible to have an experience, which is just be a part of that universe. And so to not make it happen just means that it's going to go to someone else
Exactly.
to then try again, and because it wants to be real. So if you have an idea and you're capable, if you think of yourself as capable of making that real, like, oh shit, I'm grateful for this idea, then yeah.
Thoughts or things.
Yes, I agree. Giving it life is so is that thing. And you're right that it will travel. It will go somewhere else, you know? And I think that honestly, we've probably all experienced that, whether it's been a creative idea in an artistic
Boomerang.
or if it's like a product, like, ooh, I have this great idea for something that should be created.
Yeah.
And you sit on it, and then 2 weeks later you see it as seen on TV, and it's kind of like, well, God, I
Like
have
Shark
that, but
Tank or something,
hey,
and yeah.
you didn't follow it through, you know, so it found its next vessel. And you're so right. It's like, man, these vessels that we have are so capable and so full of potential, but we walk around being distracted by so many things that are complete bullshit and literally sent to be distractions, when we could just be in this place of receiving and channeling and sharing and letting it go, and then receiving and channeling and sharing and letting it go, because that's how it should be, just that continual cycle, you know?
We're all tapped into the same creative zeitgeist. And going to what Val had just said, I think
Matrix Man.
Yeah, I think it was either like Walt Whitman or maybe like Agatha Christie had a very similar philosophy around that, where it's like
I am
everyone's fishing.
the one who knocks.
Where everyone,
Oh, wait, that was Walter White. Sorry.
wrong one. Walt
I need a
Whitman was
little levity.
definitely
I'm
not
sorry.
Cody
I'm sorry.
Chris.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But this idea that everyone's fishing, everyone's got a rod in the water, and only certain. It's all luck that you get that big, the great whale aspect.
Yes.
And sure, you might get it on your line, but it's still up to you to reel it in.
Yes.
Like, you got to do the work to make it
Yes.
reality. Otherwise, it's just, I had this great thing on my hook, like it was so good, but then
It gets
Joe
away.
Schmo over there on the other dock got it.
I have a
Yep.
theory. I think I told you my theory about good ideas, though. I think good ideas, it's like Mitch Hedberg. He's like, if I have an idea for a joke and I can't find my pen, I have to convince myself that the joke wasn't funny enough to write down. But it's like,
Wow.
my thought is, funny, if something's good, it'll come back.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that if it boomerangs back to you, that's a good idea.
Yes.
In fact, almost to the point where I would say, I think when you're talking about ideas and like, if we're going to go to like craft, right? Craft is the art of figuring out how to better distill the thoughts with your taste to match where like you filter better. So like when you're early in art, you're throwing shit against the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah.
And then when you find out, that's why I'm gonna call my first comedy album Sticky Shit, because it's just
What sticks?
it's the shit that stuck.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. But then as you learn, you're like, okay, I'm gonna start to refine that filter as it comes through. And I think you learn, like, your taste improves. There's a great Ira Glass piece, he's talking about creativity and like how it's frustrating early on because you have great taste. That's what got you into this thing. But like for a little while, what you're making doesn't match your taste. And so it's frustrating. And he's like, you just got to push through that, like you're talking about, because it's like in order to get to that other side of that, to find the thing that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Which when it gets you, you're like, oh shit. Because what you're talking about also reminds me of like a great joke, right? You think of something and then somebody says it and you're like, oh yeah, it was right there. It was right there. And, that's a good joke, but it's like, that's, finding that.
And I think a lot of people too, they get hung up and like they don't execute on those ideas because they feel like it is something that's only happening in their head. Where it's like, well, they're not really going to make the same connection. They're not going to make they're not going to understand it the way I do. But give some credit to your fellow human beings.
Yes.
Like, they will pick up on it if it's presented in the right way.
Yeah,
Think
like
and grow
you're
rich.
unique, but we all are. Like, we're
Yeah.
all
That.
experiencing crazy, crazy things, and somebody's going to relate. There's too many of us not to.
I mean, yeah, and that's another thing too with like all the fighting and conflict. Like, we're all so much more the same than we are different. Like ultimately.
We have way more things in common in taste and in experience than many people realize, because I feel like there's
we're
a lot
fighting
more,
over like
Yeah.
6 things.
Yeah.
We're fighting
Like,
over
really?
We're fighting over our
Really?
differences. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're trying to isolate. It's like, oh, well, you're doing that. Well, I had it way worse because I did it this way.
Right.
And like I had this upbringing, or like, oh, well, this person over there is like really in the shit because they're doing this and this and this.
Well, that's comparison too, and it's like that's another thing with social media that's a problem. It's the comparison.
But that's the negative
constant
side of
comparison.
comparison. But there can be a good side of comparison where it's like, oh, well, like this person who I have nothing in common with loves the same band that I love, like we can bond over that. We can have that shared connection. That music scratches their itch the same way it scratches mine. So I'm sure, although experience-wise and like, life-wise, we don't share the same, path, we still have like the neurons firing
Yeah, the
in
common
similar
thread.
ways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
And I'm curious to ask you. So the C word.
Cunt.
Yes.
No.
No.
Choir.
I'm curious. When you get that, when he says it, like in that moment, when you get that news, like what is it? The day I found out my best friend passed away, I did a set that night and I killed it. And it was because like there was never a moment of being more free of giving a fuck what anybody thought about me. And it's like, I gotta think that when you're in that moment, it's like a lot of things that you thought were important all of a sudden are not important, right? Is that
C word is cancer. For
Cancer.
anybody that's wondering.
Put
But,
two
Miss
together
Maddie
there.
Sunshine, the
Yeah.
storm tried to come up in here.
yeah.
She said, "Get fuck out."
Yeah. I think that something big that having cancer and beating cancer taught me was that there were so many problems that I thought I had before I was diagnosed that were actually extremely small and meaningless. And so that has been a big lesson for me. And even being on the other side of treatment and in remission, being able to look at any issues or problems that I may have in my life, it's like, okay, well, it's really not that big of a deal
When
in the grand
measured.
scheme when measured against what you just got through. So just for some context, I was diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer in August of 2024. I went through 5.5 months of chemo. I had a double mastectomy surgery. I had 6 weeks of daily radiation. And then a couple of months ago, I had a reconstructive surgery. So it's been almost 2 full years of my life that I've been going through this and working to get on the other side of it. So I'm still processing it. I'm still deeply in therapy for it. And just kind of grateful to be on this side of it and able to talk about it in a way that I, made it. But it's also a very scary thing because it can come back. And, every ache or pain or scan or blood work brings some anxiety. And, I'm a lot more strong and a lot more myself than I've ever been, but I'm also a lot softer and a lot more sensitive than I've ever been too. So it's a fully life-changing experience for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I can only imagine because I also got to think that like with what you're doing, what you're putting out, all of a sudden it's like those opinions start to be put in a bit more perspective in terms of, does it really? Nah, I did my thing. And, did you like it? Awesome. Did you not?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Because
can't win them all.
You mentioned like having a real problem with how over fixating on how people perceive you.
Yes.
How would you say your cancer diagnosis and like the whole process of radiation and treatment, like how did that play into like when you first diagnosed, were you worried like, damn, like now I have cancer, like it changes how people see me.
Yeah.
And now I got to deal with that on top of having cancer.
Yeah. I mean, the type of chemo I underwent makes you lose your hair. And so I had to come to terms really quick with the fact that I was going to be bald. And,
And you dropped a ton of weight too. You were like,
not in the process, actually.
Really?
In the process, I gained weight
Really?
because I was on crazy amounts of steroids.
I guess it was
Oh yeah, steroids will do that.
Yeah. In the process, like after getting through it, yes, but that's been more my own journey of like really, nailing down what works for me and what is truly healthy for me, cutting out so many things that we are learning are contributing to cancer diagnosis and the spread of cancer. So that's been an important and intentional part of my journey post-treatment, but during treatment, it was a total nightmare. I mean, to go through weeks and weeks and weeks of chemo, there's like this whole cocktail of drugs that you have to receive, including steroids that like make you balloon up in your face and like you're eating more and you don't want to be. I also have to say that as I got through it, I fasted before every chemo infusion because my understanding was that in fasting and in not feeding your body, the chances of getting sick after having chemo would be lessened a whole lot. And I also hoped that this idea that by starving your cells, they would go into kind of a hiding mode. That way the cancer cells that don't have the ability to go into a hiding mode are just like very much active, searching for whatever it is that they are feeding on, and thus that the drugs would work better.
Easier for the drugs to attack.
Yes.
And,
yeah. There's not a whole lot of studies on it. And honestly, the majority of the medical professionals that I've been working with don't even really like to touch the subject. But I know for me, it helped me a ton. I like never got ill. I never got any kind of terrible side effects from chemo, as far as like what you hear in the movies. You know, it's like, oh, you're going to be throwing up and miserable and not able to eat and thus losing all this weight. It was not that for me at all. It was the opposite. And I do attribute that to the fasting that I did. But I think also just like I came into this as a 33-year-old who was healthy otherwise, you know. But to answer your question, being perceived as I got through it was a really interesting process, and something that I am still kind of like reflecting back on. Being very obviously a cancer patient is something that I didn't actually feel as I was going through it. But now that I have hair again, and now that I'm on the other side of it, looking back at pictures of myself, it's like, oh my God, I was a cancer patient. And wherever I went, people probably knew immediately, like, damn, she's going through something. She's going through chemo. Mind you, there were a few occasions where I had a full face of makeup on and I was performing and nobody knew. And a couple of people told me, I thought this was just your vibe. I thought you were just a baldy and that's sick. You know, it's like, no, I'm you know, I joked about having a Britney moment for years and years and years, but I never fully did that. And so,
you missed out.
I got the experience. I got it. You know? I think being able to feel beautiful, being able to feel powerful and healthy, even as I got through the scariest time of my life, helped me heal my concerns about being perceived. Because at that time, I was so vulnerable. I was staring death in the face, and I was still shining and sharing and loving and working full time. And, you know, I think now it's kind of like, well, if I was able to do it then while I was going through actual hell, what could stop me now? And who cares if anybody tries to? You can't tell me shit. Like, look at what I just did. I just beat cancer. You can't tell me shit, you know? And so that is a vibe that I'm carrying with me forward for sure, and grateful for.
That's awesome. You made me think of a Gladiator quote.
Oh?
Yeah, he's like, a wise man once told me, death smiles upon us all.
Yeah.
All a man can do is smile back.
Yeah, smile back at it. Yeah, for sure.
So 100%. True. Like,
for
you're
sure.
just, because it's like facing that up, it's facing your mortality.
Yeah.
You know, and you're fucking 32 when you
Yeah,
got
I was
diagnosed?
33.
33.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like,
Crazy.
Bill Hicks, my favorite all time. He died at 32 of pancreatic cancer. He's like he's my favorite stand-up comedian of all time. And he's like a religious experience as an audience member. But it's like that moment where you're like, that's a very real thing.
Yeah.
You know? And
Oh,
it's like, there's no more luxury to like be
invisible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to make your statement, and you're like, yeah, you know what? Why you're looking more beautiful these days is because it's the energy that you're carrying.
Yeah.
It's really
Thank
it's a thing.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because
Thanks.
I notice it.
Yeah.
I feel it. Like,
Thank you.
And there's more open energy with you. Like
Yes.
I'm not saying like I thought we were always friendly like back in the
Yeah,
earlier days.
totally.
But we just didn't really interact too much with each other.
Right.
But it's like there's a warmth more with you now
Yes,
that I
thank
feel.
you.
Yeah.
It's intentional. It really is. And it's something that like I've thought about a lot in reflecting on my time in Austin in the last 4 years. When I got here, I really was so concerned about my image, and I was so concerned about like what I would become and where I would go and what I needed to do to meet the right people. And when I felt like I was meeting the right people, I felt like I had to protect that. And to protect things, you kind of have to wall yourself off from things. But this whole experience the last couple of years had shown me how much you have to open and soften and allow the people in. And also that, you know, recognizing how quickly things can just be done. Yeah. It's like, well, I'm here right now, and, you know, we may be different. We may have differing opinions. We may not be like friends forever or besties or whatever, but like we're here in this moment, and like I love me and I want you to feel love from me because I hope that you love you, and I want others to feel your love coming out too, because that's really all that we have. And when you're open to that, that's when the magic can happen, you know? So I feel the shift in myself too, but it is very intentional, and I appreciate being seen in that way.
For sure. And the presence is what or the process is in the presence, right?
Yeah.
So the outcome driven shit, that's the LA shit, right? So that's what we don't want. It's like it's staying in the moment with a person. I'm not invested in where is this going? What are we going to do with this? It's just how am I with you now?
Yes.
So much of that, yes, because that's what I think for me too, like a shift of perception over time that went from stop being so outcome driven and just start to be like stay in process
In the
with
moment.
it.
Yeah, in the moment. And you know, like, what harm can it do to be the warmest, softest self? What harm
Catch
can it
more
do?
flies with honey.
You know, like walking into a room and telling everyone hello and giving them a hug gets you so much further than
And it
walking to a
feels
room
good.
and walling yourself off because you're trying to protect yourself or whatever. Now, mind you, I'll also admit that a lot of the time when I first came here, it was a lot of social anxiety because a lot of the shit that goes on is extremely overstimulating, and it's hard to like keep track of it all, you know?
Well, and
to
you were around the comedy
understand-
world too, which is a different world.
It is a different world.
Isn't it?
Is. And I'm
It's
like,
so
I've
great, isn't it?
always been a softie. I've always been sensitive. I am more soft and more sensitive now than I've ever been, which is kind of hard to imagine because I've always been like a soft little baby. But like witnessing some of the comedy world was like super overwhelming and overstimulating, but also inspiring because there are parts of it. It's like, okay, well, I see that. I see how that works for you. And I can kind of bring some of that in without being disingenuous or too different a version of myself.
And it's like the hang with the comedy world is very much, it's like
its own
a constant
language, really.
fucking dick
Yeah.
measuring contest is what it is. And it's like, I participate sometimes when I'm in the mood, but like sometimes I'm like, I'm not going to fucking, but I like the music world a little more because I always say that it's in music inherently in of itself is a cooperative thing. So like, by its nature, I feel like people tend to be probably a little more accessible.
a little more open to collaboration.
Yeah, whereas comedy is a solo
It's more-
thing,
yeah,
and so
one-man
it's very
show.
much like me, you
Right.
know, and it.
But
you feel
also,
that.
with comedy, like I do think there is a misconception that comedians are all
I'm
insanely
tainted by the good people in the music community. God damn it.
they're all insanely calloused and have no feelings really.
Well, it's easy to get that way too in that world.
Yeah,
I
but
can say.
in reality, I think the better comedians, at least, I think, are soft and open in that way.
That's
But
what rejection does
Yeah.
over time.
they don't
Soft.
put so much weight into other people's perception, but they still open themselves up to those other people.
Right.
And you definitely see it on stage with what they choose to talk about and you
Yeah.
know, topics that they, you know, that might be incredibly personal to them that they are, you know, laughing through the pain with. Putting yourself out there on that stage with that context, like,
You got to be
There's
like
no room
Norm
for social
Macdonald,
anxiety,
you know.
Yeah, it's true.
Just own that
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, it's true.
speaking of Norm, another cancer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Who
Guy.
never said shit about it for
Crazy.
years, and it's wild.
I really didn't know how I was
Didn't-
going to handle it at first. Like I went back and forth with myself like, okay, I mean, I had been working on my social media presence and feeling less afraid of getting on and singing and playing and you know, being seen. And when I got my diagnosis and I started to understand what I was about to undergo, it's like, well, I don't think that I can hide. I don't think that I can disappear, because the further I got into it, the more that I understood about what I was about to undergo, the longer the process became, you know, like I got into this thing thinking, all right, I'll be good in like 8 months. Right.
Yeah.
And then I would meet with another doctor or a surgeon who would be like, actually, it's going to be another year. And then you meet with them again down the road. It's like, actually, it's going to be another year and a half. It's like, oh my God. Okay. So in 2 years, I'm going to be back to normal. Like what? Okay. I can't disappear through this. I need to be present. And I do feel like I've been given a voice for a reason, both to sing and to communicate. And I want to continue to use that as my tool for not only healing and being present with myself, but to hopefully be there for somebody else. You know, I don't want to be attached to helping anyone else, because I think that you can get a little stuck in the mud with that. But I think that just sharing and putting yourself out there and being yourself as you get through something extremely hard can show somebody else that, like, hey, maybe you're going through something completely different, but you you too can get through this.
Yeah, you
and
can pull
use
strength
this
from my
community for it.
experience.
Right?
It was the thing that
Right.
intrigued me most about bringing you here today.
Was it?
Yeah,
Okay.
just because it's such a thing,
Yeah.
and it's like so. That's why, in that way, I'm glad that it's a thing that you have
Yeah.
because
That you draw power
Norm was
from.
also a
Yeah.
celebrity, so it's a little different.
Yeah.
So, but like in your case, it's like to put it out there is to get the love and support and
Yes.
the encouragement and the things that are going to be so helpful and needed
Yes.
in that time. Because, yeah, it's like it's especially like you single, right? When you're you
Yeah.
know, you don't have a partner there to support you.
Yeah.
And it's just all you.
Yep.
That's where you're really like out there. You're like,
Like,
Yeah.
were you able to find a community among like other cancer patients as you were going through it?
I almost
'Cause I
wonder
hear
if that's
so
something I
much-
would want to avoid, just to not be. It's like going to AA. I haven't drank in almost 4 years. Never been to an AA meeting.
Yeah.
Proud of that fact.
Good question. I still kind of battle with this a little bit. And I am a very independent person by nature. I have always been very independent and prided myself on being able to do things for myself, enjoying alone time, and not really needing other people. This diagnosis and treatment definitely changed that feeling because I absolutely have needed people as I've gotten through it. But not really did I venture into the world of other cancer patients or survivors. There were a few people that I met along the way, whether it was in the cancer center going through treatment or through friends who said, "Oh my God, I have a friend who went through breast cancer and she would be great. You should talk to her." And I did, and that was nice. You know, I do know a girl who's within 10 years older than me, and she had gone through breast cancer treatment a couple of years ago, and she was very open and willing to share her experience with me. But to be honest, a lot of what other people's experiences were with that or are with that kind of scare the shit out of me. So there's like a whole cancer side of TikTok and social media. Cancer talk is a wild place. And the minute that I started like searching on TikTok for like I had a chemo port placed, what's that going to be like? Or even before I knew I had it officially, what is a breast biopsy like? Or, you know, what is a double mastectomy recovery process going to be like, or what is this chemo going to be like? The more that I found, the more scared I became. And I would hear or see people's stories of just devastation because it is devastating.
Yeah, it's cancer.
And it literally scared the shit out of me. And in a sense, it was helpful because it encouraged me to not let that be my story. But in a way, it also was kind of validating when I did have those days, you know, because I did try to come forward with as much sunshine and light as I possibly could. But let me tell you, behind doors, it was not always as such. There were some very dark times and some really hard moments processing it, getting through it, seeing how my life was changing, realizing that I was never going to go back to the other side of the human experience, which is one of health. You know, I'm here. I'm in a very healthy position. I'm healthier than I've ever been in my life, and I'm so grateful for it. But I think once you've kind of stepped onto this side, into this world of the sick, it's different. And you don't really ever fully cross back over because now that I've gone through this thing, I'm always going to have 3-month blood work. I'm always going to have scans. There's always going to be that fear of, is it coming back, you know? So yeah, I think moving forward, I would like to be active in the community at some point. I'm grateful for the chance to talk about it because I do have things to say. And that was really kind of my driving force behind sharing online publicly as I was getting through it, is like, there are going to be a lot more of us that go through this, especially younger people in staggering numbers. And so, you know, it's not the norm, but it needs to be kind of normalized to an extent that it's like, okay, you're going to get this diagnosis, but you can make it and it is going to be all right. And you're not going to lose everything. I mean, you can still work full time through it sometimes, you know, but I don't know. I recently met another breast cancer survivor who kind of triggered me in conversation, honestly, because my experience is still very fresh. I also lost my dad in October to esophageal cancer, so it's just been kind of like a heavy looming thing and really hard to process. But yeah, I don't know. In our conversation, I like maintained composure, but on the inside, everything was on fire in a very uncomfortable way, where I realized like, okay, I think I'm just a little bit too close to it still to really be able to step into this position of like, I'm an advocate for others. It's like, no. I'm still figuring out how to advocate for myself. And that really has been the biggest lesson through this is self-advocacy. And if I can talk about anything at this point, it is that. Because I would not be here today had I not fiercely self-advocated the whole way through, from getting the doctor that I needed, saying no to the people that I needed, you know, getting the help that I needed, and just advocating for myself.
It's like it's
because
your fucking life.
Yeah.
it's my life. And there's
Nobody's going to be as concerned with it as you are.
right. Well, and the people who we pay, right? Like my oncologists, my surgeons, you know, the nurses, all of those people, they are invested and they do care, but they have kind of this path that everybody goes down. And there are lots of people in the world who just accept that. They're like, okay, I'm going to blindly trust my doctors because clearly they know more than me. But when you really feel something inside is not actually fitting for you and you do not speak up about it, you die a little. And I'm trying to live. That was the whole thing about this fight. Is like, no. I understand that this may have worked for other people, but I am not other people. I am myself, and I need you to listen to me and respect me enough to hear what I have to say and get me what I need, or else I will go find it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I hope that more people do that.
Because a good doctor will listen to that.
Yes.
They're not going to just pigeonhole you into what has worked, what the treatment is. Like, you know, you're going to have cancer treatment with a side of fries. Like, that's not how it goes. It's like, this is what's happening in your life. This is how you are experiencing being in your own body.
Yes.
Which I can imagine is an insanely different feeling post-treatment of like how you feel in your own skin. But also preserving your own identity, especially in those online worlds like cancer TikTok and Reddit and like all that, where I'm sure there are definitely people who are breast cancer survivors, breast cancer survivors in general, that attribute that as their entire being, their entire personality and identity,
Right.
which I could see very much because of the trauma and because of the anxiety and just like the insanely intense emotions that you're feeling during that time.
It does become you. You do become it for, for sure.
Yeah.
But I do see what you're saying too, though, about like needing to be yourself and needing to maintain some sort of self through it. And, you know, it is interesting to be on this side of it, because I'll get into a room like with a bunch of people, and if they ask you to stand up and say something about yourself, where are you from? You know, how long have you lived in Austin? And tell us a fun fact about yourself. At this point, being so close to my treatment, which by the way, tomorrow officially makes 1 year since I finished chemo, which is crazy.
Hey, nice.
But I have a hard time not being like, yeah, I just beat breast cancer, you know, and like there is a little bit of a conflict there for me that I don't want it to be my identity, but to be, as I was saying earlier, authentic and vulnerable and truly myself. It is a part of me.
Yeah.
It is something that I went through. So it is something that I'm like finding ways to talk about, you know?
At least you're not the person. I heard a story from a girl I dated like last year, and she said that somebody she knew got a cancer diagnosis and like was basically it's terminal, and so he just like was like fuck it, and he just like went crazy and like traveled the world and, you know, blew up his money and just went nuts, right?
Full
and
bucket
then
list
like he got
attitude.
like I guess it went into remission. So he's showing up. He's like, wait, you're telling me I'm not gonna fucking. I'm not gonna die.
I drained my entire life savings.
I'm fucking gonna live.
I told so many people to go fuck
that
themselves.
That is the fucking most hilarious shit I've ever heard. Because I'm like, dude, to think you're gonna die and then be like, oh, okay, I'm actually gonna live. It's fucking Walter White, dude.
I think I was so determined to live and found this new drive to live that I had never really felt before, that I didn't really consider those as options for me. But there are definitely ideas and goals and dreams that I have that I will not let go of at this point. And I absolutely am a bit more bold in the way that I communicate with people if I do have a no, or if I do have something to say, where it's kind of like, well, you know,
It feels
I'm
better.
gonna say it.
It's and you leave the air clean,
Yeah.
and you're not sitting with. Because to me, I'm like, somebody else might feel a way about me. I'm like, if I know where my heart is, and again, it's like, it goes to the reputation thing where it's like, character is what you really are. And that's the thing you can control. So it's like, when you're communicating with other people, it's like, if you're going to say the thing, like whatever you need to say, it's like, it's worth expressing and not putting it in that box inside where you're like, okay, that's where you hold on. That's the thing that drives sickness is like
Yeah, that
not
becomes cancer.
You have to
Absolutely.
release these.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holding on to the negativity. And it's also, I think, where it could be a little tricky too with like the cancer world, like to not get too in it where you're like, you need to identify yourself as a person, a healthy person, right? And you're like, to be kind of in that world, which I think is probably very important too, to be as someone who's gone through that experience for others and whatever. But it's like also the side where you're like, I want to make sure I keep my mindset in that healthiness and I'm like
Yeah.
sickness, because when you're there you're thinking about it, you
Right.
know what I mean,
Right.
and you're thinking about it, you're dwelling, and it's just a thing, you know.
Well, and the stress that comes with it, like looking back, I feel like in the last 2 years, being diagnosed, getting through treatment, all of it, my body was in constant fight or flight mode. And that stress can breed more cancer. And so
Cortisol.
getting to the other side of it and trying so hard to just breathe into the moment and be present and manifest more health for myself in reasonable, doable ways has been very important to me. Being able to work through the feelings that I have had getting through it and be honest about them is also very healthy, because you're right. I don't want to hold on to that stress and that fight or flight. I want to just be in the moment with this life for whatever amount of time I have left, but also in a way that I'm doing everything I can. Like if it comes back,
Yeah.
I will not blame myself. And that's been the biggest thing with weight loss, with, I don't drink anymore either, with getting to this place where it's like, nah. If I get this thing again, it is not going to be something I blame myself for. It is just going to be by chance or because this was meant to be my path, because I can look back in my early 20s and even into my childhood a bit and see some of the unhealthy patterns that could have led to this cancer diagnosis. And
Alcohol's definitely up there.
alcohol's a huge one,
It's up there.
especially for breast cancer. It's a huge
It's a
one,
major
but also
people sleep on it too. It's
Oh,
such
yeah.
a one,
True.
right? Like
It's
it's such a
true.
one of those things because it's legal but
It's so
cigarettes are legal
accessible.
too, and people
Yeah.
don't sleep on that.
Right.
So
Right.
it's weird that alcohol gets that pass,
Yeah.
like cognitively with
Right.
people, that dissonance.
Yeah, it's processed sugar and all the processed foods out there and trying
which
to
is like
really
most people's diets
Yeah.
are like
Yeah. I mean, it was a huge part of my diet,
Yeah.
like a huge part of my diet. I struggled with a bit of a binge eating disorder kind of all through my early years into my adult life. And in the last couple of years, I've really been working hard to heal that and get past that, because there were so many times where it was like, man, I'm a creative and I'm misunderstood and I'm depressed. And the only thing that makes me feel better is going and getting fast food or eating ice cream or, door dashing donuts at 11 o'clock at night, which is, we should not be able to do that, by the way.
You know,
But
I can't hate on that.
I have to at this
No,
point.
I
because
know,
I'm like,
I know.
no, girl. We don't go there anymore.
Nope, we can't have nice things
love
here.
her and respect her for who she was, but we are not her anymore for good reason, So
Habits have changed.
Yeah, habits have changed,
Yes.
and it feels good. It feels great to be able to be in this place where it's like, that is not who I am anymore. I don't make those choices anymore, and I am living in intention, with intention, and that's really healing in and of itself, and helpful to be able to be more community forward and love centered. It's like when I'm loving myself and treating myself so well, it's so much easier to treat you well too.
Well, and also it's like prior to the diagnosis, I'm sure it's like your emotional bandwidth might be going in all these different directions. And I imagine that helps you kind of all of a sudden the focus where it really, the places it should be going becomes like far more apparent. And you're like, okay, like now I know
Your priorities
where.
are laid out a little bit.
Because you only have so
easier.
many fucks,
Yep.
dude. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta allocate,
And you gotta
allocate those fucks.
You can't misallocate your fucks.
You gotta be ready for a fuck audit.
Yeah.
Everybody should conduct a fuck audit, dude. Just get a calculator and start writing down your fucks and reallocate them.
Like, oh
motherfuckers.
man, I'm way over this month.
Yeah.
No, but it's like that. It is so like it's again. It's like the same thing with your phone and where that energy goes, and it's like the allocation of that energy is important, and it's
Yeah.
like where you put it will be what becomes you, and
Yeah.
like it's like I'm sure like too that process is difficult to like go through and change, and like for me like it's interesting because as hard as stopping drinking was in many ways. There was also at the time I stopped, there was such there was no question I was done. Like I felt it in every core part of my being that I was like, fuck fuck this shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Fuck you. You don't get another thing from me. Like that
Right.
was the thought.
Doesn't it feel like we've kind of been punked? As like a people, we've kind of been punked about alcohol.
Bill
to
Hicks
believe,
tried to warn us
you know,
about this.
That it's kind
Keep
of this
drinking
weird
alcohol, you
thing.
fucking morons.
Right.
Like it's
so I'm so glad to see more and more people walking away from it, because there's just literally nothing that it does right for you. But it really does feel like we've just all had the wool over our eyes for so long about this, because
I'm glad you said that, because I feel like I can't have this conversation very often because people feel attacked.
Right.
They have their shit.
Because they're not ready.
Yes.
Yeah. But it
And it's like,
needs
it's
to
not
be
an
talked
attack.
about. It's not. It's like a loving
It's a reality
suggestion,
check,
and
maybe.
it is a reality check,
Yeah.
you know. And
Maybe
it's,
you need it.
Yeah, and I think it's really empowering to be able to step on the other side of it. You know, I was nervous when I quit drinking almost 2 years ago. I was nervous about how it would feel to go out for gigs and how it would feel to go out to other people's shows, and just like, can I still make friends? Can I find somebody to date? Can I
enjoy myself?
Exactly. What is it going to be like, you know? And honestly, now I've gotten to a point where like I feel like such a badass walking into a bar and ordering a fucking $5 Rambler, which give me a break. But still, you know, it's like, no. This is me. This is what I know that I need.
Yeah.
This is how I honor myself.
Y'all
and
are poisoning
I'm standing in that.
yourselves. Have fun. We're just in
enjoy
in this
your
drugged
fun.
in. Here we're in here.
And if you ever want support, like, it's here. You
Yeah.
know, it's here. You have a sober friend that you can go out with and still have a great time.
Yeah.
It's very much ingrained in society. And
There's a lot of other drugs, people. Dude.
go
No.
go try
Watch
ketamine.
No, but it's like I will 100% go Joe Rogan here, but with the psychedelic realm and shit, I think it's a totally different realm.
It is.
In fact, when one time I tripped when I was like in my mid-20s, 27, I think, and I stopped drinking for a month. I didn't go in with this intention, but the toxic forces. My dad was a police officer for 35 years, and I asked him, I was like, in your whole career, like of all the calls you went on for like domestic stuff, you know, situations, like of all those calls, like what percentage would you say of those involved alcohol? And he's like, all of them.
Yeah.
It's like, it's 100%
Yeah.
suicide.
Yeah.
I think a majority of people are drunk when they kill themselves. It's like and for me, I don't know, like my ideations were.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it
I
kills
was
your
like
self-esteem.
the reason
Your
I don't own a
anxiety is
gun,
through the
right,
roof.
is because I was afraid of who I was going to use
literally,
it on.
that was it. That
Like-
was a thing for me. I'm like, girl, you have struggled with depression your whole life. Why does it make sense at all to bring a depressant into your body? Why? You already have a knack for the blues. Like
Like
melancholy
the scales
has been my
are
friend
already
forever.
like this.
Well,
Yes.
it's
What are you doing?
Don't
This
do
is-
that.
The process
Right.
of the substance is, Carlin said this. It's all at the beginning. It's mostly all fun, very little like bad experience, and then over time it starts to shift, and all of a sudden it starts to be me half and half, and then all of a sudden now it's like very little good stuff and mostly bad. And you reach that point if you do reach it with something, you're like, that's where you're like beating your head against the wall, because
Yeah.
it's like you think you can get it back to the place where it was in the beginning. You can't.
You know, I
it
just had
doesn't
some
work like that.
There's
imagery.
no going back. No.
When we were kids, I feel like we learned so much about quicksand, right? And I like was a kid thinking that
This
like
is a bit.
quicksand
Who's
was
John
going to be
Mulaney?
something.
Is it
Mulaney?
But I feel like alcohol is the quicksand.
Yes.
And most substances can become the quicksand for people, but it really is
a
that
great
thing,
analogy.
you know? I just
Yeah.
had that imagery where it's like, man, when I was going through that, even though I have not ever felt like I had an addiction toward alcohol or any drugs of any sort, food was always more my addiction than anything. Being in that place where if I was going to go out and enjoy myself or feel less anxious or feel confident enough to walk up to somebody and say hello, that I needed to have a drink in my hand to be included, that's quicksand. That was what I was doing. I was putting myself into a pit of quicksand that I inevitably could not get out of, you know, but thank God I did, because now to be on this side of it, it really does feel so cool and so empowering.
It's a different, like, it's people, the alcohol's a liar. It's like it convinces people that they can't enjoy their life without it. And but then it becomes a catch-all for literally anything and everything. You're celebrating, you're drinking. If you're depressed, you're drinking. If you know, every scenario, situation, Austin, Texas, there's a different reason to drink every night. And it's like, and then you live in that culture, in that world, it's like it absorbs into you, and you don't even think about what it is.
Yep.
And it's like to people, it's like they don't understand. It's like the biggest carcinogen. I mean, it's like it really is so destructive on so many. Every relationship I've ever been in,
yeah.
the thing that tore it apart was alcohol.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, and I think if anybody that's been in a relationship for any period of time is honest that it didn't go well, if you look at it, how I bet most of them, I would say
definitely
a
didn't
good
help.
majority of them
definitely didn't help.
Yeah, it's like so, and people don't. It's weird because alcohol creates problems for people that they then use alcohol to.
Oh, yeah.
And then they start to believe that the alcohol brings bad things, and they think they're bad. So then they drink because they think they tell themselves they deserve bad things, and so I should drink.
Man.
And it's like this
That's
cycle.
twisty and weird.
Yeah.
I have always wondered about that, or not always. I shouldn't say always. As of recently, since, walking away from alcohol, I think about just how celebrated it is and how much it's like, ooh, I had a great day. I'm going to go home and celebrate with a glass of wine, or I'm going to go celebrate by having a beer. And it's kind of like, well, at what point did celebrating turn into harming yourself?
Yeah.
What's happening there and why? That's why I feel like we've been punked, because it's like, no, I'm gonna go celebrate by having a delicious piece of fish and some broccoli, y'all. You know?
Well,
Like,
it's
I'm
the
gonna take care
opiate.
of
It's the
myself.
opiate of the masses. It just so happens
Yeah.
that a drunk society is better for the government, for people
Right.
running shit.
Yeah.
It's
If you-
better for them.
In
Let's
fact,
be
actually,
real.
yeah. If you look back in early Europe, back when everyone was drinking every day because it was like a health thing, where it's like, okay, you put alcohol in the water because it kills bacteria, like that aspect of it. Early days of coffee houses were originally outlawed and banned because it was people getting together with clear minds, talking about the issues of the day and how
Watch
our
out.
government is fucking us,
Yeah.
rather than at the pub where everyone's sloshed and
Right.
just ever so happy.
Incoherent. Yeah.
Yeah, all the
Uh-huh.
drugs that make you wake up to how you're being fucked every day of your life, those ones are against the law. Coincidence? I don't know.
Gee,
It's
really?
like,
Yeah.
it really, and it's the self-awareness of it. It's just so lacking, and it's like, it's funny. I joke the legal limit's funny to me. It's like, it's the very idea, drink responsibly. That's a fucking oxymoron.
Right.
Yeah.
It's an oxymoron.
Right.
The very act of drinking
Is
is irresponsible.
irresponsible because
You
of the
can't drink
harm.
responsibly.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the dumbest shit. It's like,
Yeah.
there's no like,
We've been punked.
there's no legal limit for like other drugs, dude. You know what I'm saying?
And it also feels like as a
Or should be.
collective, we've been sort of like pushing doctors and medical journals and it was like trying to get them to say what we want them to say in terms of alcohol, where it's like, yeah, everyone knows it's bad. Like there's no positive upside, but then being like, well, I mean, the social aspect, like you're getting out and being with people, like that's a good thing that alcohol does. It's like, yeah, but that's not alcohol. That's you going out and being with people and
Right.
doing it.
Alcohol is the thing you think you need. But sober confidence is the thing you're searching for. That's the thing you really want. Is that level of ability to
Yeah.
approach people, and if you can get there, because sometimes like I've had moments, and I can't say that it's all the time. Like like sometimes I'm not in that
Yeah.
in that
that
mode.
headspace,
But sometimes
yeah.
I don't know, and I like maybe it's a pretty girl, and I'm just like fuck it, just I'm gonna just go say this or like put myself in a position out there, whatever. It's like
Yeah.
alcohol is not the thing though that necessarily you need to get there. I'm not gonna lie, it does help you kind of grease the wheels socially,
Sure.
but you can still have an interaction. And again, if you stay in that present moment with the person, because that's the other thing. When you're drinking, it all starts to become a blur.
Yeah.
It's like,
It's
yeah,
also
you're not
really
even
hard
there.
to remember song lyrics when you're drinking all the
Oh
time.
yeah. Your long-term memory
Trying to do a
gets
fucking
fried.
Yeah, exactly. Or a
You
joke or whatever.
you
it's
just
like,
scat or just
yeah.
beep-a-da-ba-boop-ba-da-boo.
Yep.
It's fucking
Yep.
Hannibal Buress.
And that's something too that's been very interesting to me on the psychedelic side is how many sober people are open to psychedelics and just how much that's not
think-
the same world.
I think
Yeah.
it's like resetting your emotional bandwidth again, going back to like different ways to recalibrate, but it's like that is a forced reset in a sense, because you're taking yourself outside of yourself
Right.
to a different place, a different plane, and then going, okay, now there's this here now too. So now this is a thing. So when I go back, I might not fully be able to like always be in that moment or in that mindset, but it's still always going to be there. You know what I mean?
I'm so interested to see how psychedelics are used in healing platforms moving forward. You know, I mean, I think I can speak for myself in that when I first started stepping into playing with different substances beyond alcohol, it was kind of this go hard or go home mentality. But then as I got a little older and a little wiser and kind of realized how scary some of those moments can be, it was like, well, actually, let me treat this thing like what it's supposed to be treated like, which is something actually very deeply spiritual and capable of helping you heal and open and like, you know, become a better version of yourself. And I am very excited to see where we go from here with that. It's so nice to hear, you know, that mushrooms are being used to help veterans and trauma survivors and, you know, getting people through some of their darkest times. So I'm very encouraged by that and excited to see where it goes.
It should be.
Yeah. I had a pretty fun conversation with my dad about that actually before I moved out here because I'd done shrooms a couple times back home and it was the thing where it was like, this isn't like, I had to sort of present it in a way where it was like, okay, this is what it's being used for. This is how it affects you. This is like the science behind it. Cause I think it's important when you're doing a substance to understand that level of it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, he like very much didn't get it and didn't click two and two together. Like, well, you know, it's like, we've had this whole thing. And then when we moved out here, literally the folks that we were staying with, some family friends, one of them is a psychologist, a therapist, and was saying how she was going to a retreat to do mushrooms. And I just saw the click in my dad's eyes of just like, oh, so maybe this is a thing.
I needed somebody who wasn't my son to say it.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, shit, my dad, he's like, no, I ain't ever put anything on fire in my mouth in my life. No, he was a cop. But no, but I mean, like, it is I think that most people have, everybody might have their preconceived notions about it, but it's not something you can ever fully understand until you actually experience it. And you can't knock it unless you've tried it. If you've tried it and you talk shit, okay, at least
I'll respect that you had an experience with
exactly.
it that didn't work for you.
Exactly. And it's like, but also I think that what is it telling you about yourself that if you're afraid or you do a thing that's bad, that's a cleanse actually is what that actually is.
A reset for sure.
Yeah, because it's getting you through this thing you've been avoiding. Oftentimes, that's what psychedelics can do. They open you up to that thing that's been there that you're just not confronting, and they kind of sit you with it. And now you're like, all right, well, now I got to sit with this shit.
Here I am.
But then
You're like, figure this out.
it also does go back to how you're using it. Because there definitely is a good and a bad way to use psychedelics, just like any substance, really.
Well, I think still, though, what I was going to say is I think a bad trip can still lead to a good outcome for somebody. I've seen it happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
But then there's...
I saw how dude have a terrible trip and then like repair his relationship with his dad. It was fucking craziest shit ever, dude.
That I 100%
It was
don't
wild.
deny. That's definitely a real thing. But it's the repeated use, like more on like the folks that are...
The Sid Barrett, or what's his face?
What's it called? Like predisposed to like addictive, having an addictive personality, and all of a sudden it's not a once a month or once a 6 months, once a year thing, and then it becomes like an every couple days, every day thing where you're either munching mushrooms or taking
That's
multiple
a lot
tabs
every day.
It's a lot, but people
maybe
do
microdosing.
Microdosing. Yeah,
I honestly,
say.
as an
another thing,
antidepressant,
That's what
Yeah.
like in microdose, I think not enough to feel really the effect, but still enough to balance your mood in a way that you may not necessarily consciously perceive.
Exactly.
100%.
That's
I
being
think
studied. I think it's really
but
cool.
don't you think that there's certain entities that have no interest?
Of course.
There are 100% entities that have an interest in keeping people stupid and drunk and fat and dumb and all of that.
For sure.
That
No
is
doubt.
literally the goal.
No doubt.
Yeah.
But I think conversations like this can be so helpful. And I'm glad to see that they are happening more and more, because it's kind of like what we're talking about with people overusing. It's like, even if you just do it one time, but you overuse it, you've kind of set yourself up for a failure, because you're, like I said, when I first got started with things like go hard or go home. No. take it slow. Like, start small, maybe stay small, you know, like that you don't have to prove anything at all.
And also
it
don't
can
feel like you
be-
have to.
Right. You don't. And it can be
I like when I was like, don't
so-
feel pressure to have an opinion. You're like, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
You know, I mean, to be able to allow something like that, if it feels right, if it's meant to come into your life, to be responsible about it and to take it slow and start small, you know, that can lead to something really magical and cool. It's like what you're saying is like, sure, there have been people who have come through like a bad trip and like gotten somewhere better because of it, but then there's also people who like have very much have not.
Yeah.
So to have
Yeah.
respect and understanding of that is kind of like, okay, well, even
Sometimes
when it
people
comes,
discover like DNA though and shit.
yeah,
You know?
right. But I feel like
That
even
dude was
when it
on
comes
LSD.
to something simple like drinking, like smoking weed, like any of it with eating, you know, needing to define your intention behind it is a lot like what you were saying about cataloging your fucks. It's like, well, why am I doing this? What do I want? And
What am I trying to get out of
is-
this?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
What am I trying to get out of
'Cause
this, and what is
so
it
much
giving
of
me?
what people end up doing too is pattern, and they don't even they
Right.
establish that pattern, and they don't even question the pattern
Right.
because it becomes them.
Yeah.
And you're like, that's the thing I think that I say too with like being uncomfortable, creatively, whatever it is. Yes, do that. Be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Go lean into that.
Yeah.
Lean into it. Your growth lies on that in that direction.
Totally.
It doesn't lie in this comfort zone you're in over
Totally.
here. It doesn't.
Right.
And it's like that's where growth happens. It's like you have to make yourself a little uncomfortable. It's
Yep.
not fun necessarily, but it is
Yeah.
that process that you're going
Yeah.
through. You
And
know,
guess what? It'll become more comfortable.
like I did not want to go to the
exactly.
gym yesterday. I don't feel like going tomorrow either. But also, like you get a place and you do a thing, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm glad I did
Right,
this.
right.
You know, like I got through that part where I'm fighting myself, and I think too with like anything, you have to stop negotiating with yourself. We all negotiate with ourselves and things, what we do, our decisions every day that we make. And it's like,
Yeah.
you, number one, have to be present enough to catch yourself negotiating. And then you have to stop and go, I'm not going to negotiate. I'm
Yeah,
not
it's like
going to
pressing
even.
snooze, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
stop
Yep.
pressing snooze.
All right,
and
I
be
feel
real.
attacked.
Just
I
get
feel
up.
really
Just do it.
attacked.
Go do it. Hey, you're in a safe
I have my
space.
vices,
We
okay?
all
Yeah.
press snooze.
My snooze vices.
My snooze is a vice for sure.
Do you snooze? Who doesn't? I don't know.
I feel like everybody's
it's-
got multiple alarms scheduled. You know, they've got the one that they hope they hit, and then the
Yeah.
one that they're probably gonna hit.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yeah.
It's
Big time.
definitely like, yeah. I think
And
that
bringing it back to the podcast a little bit in terms of negotiations and like putting yourself outside the comfort zone is when we were getting started. Like we both realized like, hey, we want to have a level of professionalism and like presentation to this, where it would have been easier and more comfortable to do it in, you know, his living room like that.
Yeah.
Would have been easier, just pop over, record a cast, do that. But for what we wanted to get out of it, we realized that getting this was what we needed to
Yeah.
do.
well, and the notice that we've gotten, I think, is a direct result of what, because like for those that we bring on, it's like not only are we doing this to like have this as like the standard, but we're giving those people that we're putting out something cool too,
Yeah.
like in a
Something that we feel is
because I make people look
worthwhile.
really good
You
with my
put-
editing.
Well, it's the intention.
No,
that
it's
you
like the
put
beats.
into
I've like you
There's
get it.
quality.
And you, yeah.
It's the quality. And I think, you know, when you're doing anything in life, when you put your all into it and you go further than you think you can or further than your bank account tells you that you can, but you just know, that this is what I see for my vision.
Yeah.
And when you follow that through, I do believe that life meets you there. And I
Yeah.
do believe that the things that come from it will continue to flow and give you more opportunities. Every time I level up my life, no matter whether I can think I can afford it or not, it continues to come to me in that
Yeah.
way. I got a better car, better things happened. I
Yeah.
moved to a different apartment that's nicer, better things happened. I leveled up my friend group, better things happened. I stopped drinking alcohol, better things happened. You know, I am trusting that putting my intention into things and making them good quality, great quality even, will not only bring better quality into my life, but show others like, hey, you can do this too.
Yeah.
It's that mantra of as long as you put effort into something over time, that's
Yes.
the
It will grow.
The caveat there. It will grow and
Yes.
things will get better. Better
Yes.
things will come to you.
Yeah.
Because there's no get rich quick scheme. Like sure, you might not become famous. It might not pan out exactly to your plan, but as long as in the process you're putting that effort in, good things will get
Well, and
good things will
it
come.
really
Yeah.
is the simple focus on what you can control.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about what you can't control. Most things are you can't control. So, number one, though, I say this too. No matter how you feel, you always get to decide what your attitude is. And if you have a bad attitude, it's like that's not preordained. Like you're not like cursed to a bad attitude.
So true.
It's just your decision you're making to have it.
True.
We all have moments we don't feel like being accessible, but we still have to be accessible. We still have to be, out there. It's like that's part of the, being a person. Like, and it's like that's the thing. It's like with like culture and society in general, like we can't focus on the easy solutions. The things that are more difficult are the things worth doing.
Yes.
So why don't we all embrace that?
Yeah.
That thing.
And how beautiful to get to the other side of it, to really practice something and learn it and then feel so empowered because you did that.
You put in the time.
You did
Yes.
that. And you really do open the door for others to be able to do the same. And I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think more like to go like tag to what you were saying, it's like as you go, it's like the more as you go along, the tools get put at your disposal.
Yes.
You start with this set of tools and then you step forward and move forward and then I got these tools now.
Isn't
Okay,
that
cool.
like a gaming thing? Like
Yeah.
as you're going through a game, you're like collecting new tools.
Well,
and
we're
stuff.
in the
It's
Matrix.
so,
How many
like-
fucking times do I have to say this?
Shout out Arc Raiders, hottest game right now.
Arc Raiders.
It's called an
Dude.
extraction shooter. The entire goal is you go in and you loot, you get cool shit,
Yeah.
and you bring it back.
Dude, right?
I have friends who are playing that, and I just like sticks out to me that something that they say while they're playing the game is friendly. So I feel like I'm out here in real life going friendly. Like, please don't fuck with me. I'm a friendly.
That's a huge part of the game.
Dude,
yeah.
literally me walking here today, like around several members of our houseless community. Like, I'm friendly. I'm
It's
sorry,
like, all right,
please
it's all right.
leave me alone. Like,
Not
please,
hostile, not hostile.
Also, not like I don't have anything that you want. Like, please, friendly.
You don't have any Pokemon?
I'm running a free loadout. I don't got anything.
Oh gosh.
Man.
Same shit our viewers will get that you guys don't.
What?
Free loadout.
Oh yeah,
loadout.
no, didn't no.
Yo, fucking hey, this has been a lot of fun, man. I've really been like enjoying this,
Yeah.
and I want to talk about something else, but it's gonna be a whole nother segment, and I don't really think I
Yeah.
want to do it today. So
Do we want to wait? We'll wait till next time.
We're
Yeah.
gonna talk
Ooh,
about something.
cliffhanger.
There's an article. I'll give the teaser, but that's it. There's an article in the
Yeah,
Chronicle.
Speaking of
former
cancer.
Cody Kai Cast guest on the cover, or at least his venue. So we have some things we want to like kind of go talk about with that, because this is a fucking like 4 fucking page thing, dude.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Shout out to Steve Sunshine though, because
Yeah, the legend. We've had him on. Go check out his
my working
podcast.
relationship with him has been nothing but fantastic, and I've enjoyed him on so many levels, creatively and as a friend and mentor, and
As a
I
jam
don't.
mate, as an only
You're
jam
not
mate.
gonna hear any hate coming from I don't think either of us probably on this podcast towards Steve Sunshine or Empire or any of those places that they run. I know there's people that might have different opinions there, but
Yeah, there's a lot of negativity going on.
Yeah.
there
in
is.
that scope.
I think what the theme of this one is we've come to this really nice place of like
Yeah.
it's gotten. I really, it's good. I like it. I like it.
There's
It's like this is the vibe.
a fog layer of positivity.
Yeah,
which is
no,
nice.
this is the
Yeah.
vibe, and
I'm
I
so grateful to be part of it.
we appreciate you, and I thank you for like you sharing
Thank
your
you.
some of your own. I mean, obviously not the whole story, but
Yeah.
the
sharing your experience,
Yeah.
and,
experience and.
the emotions, and
Yeah.
I feel like this is exactly
hopefully-
what I would have hoped
Yeah.
this conversation would be.
Yeah.
Has really been that.
Well,
so.
thank you for the platform. Thank you for
Yeah.
having me.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
really
of
cool
course.
to be your 50th
You're-
episode
you're
guest.
number 50.
That's exciting.
My lady, my name is Sally O'Malley. I'm 50.
I do want to make a plug if that's
Yes,
okay.
please.
Speaking of my dear friends Spice and Roy, who are background
Yes.
vocalists for incredible Serb Woman and also an incredible duo themselves, past cast members on the
Yes.
Cody Kai Cast.
friends of the
Yes,
CKC
yes.
multiverse.
They started a chorus, and it's you can find it on Instagram. It's CHOR.US.
Nice.
And because they are us, right? And the very, very exciting things are happening. We've gone viral a couple of times in the last few weeks. We just had our first performance at Sea Boys. It was packed out. We actually accompanied them and sang some of their original music with them as a choir. We've got really, really big things happening.
I love
so
that.
tune in, give us a follow,
That is like
come to a show.
That's like some Josh Groban shit.
It's-
Like it's got the fucking
Keep an ear to the
you
ground for that
raise me
one.
up.
I mean, But it really does raise.
Dude,
it
that's
has
so great,
raised
though.
up the community so much already.
It's-
Like it's people from different walks of life, different ages, different backgrounds, different levels of experience within music. But the way that we have come together to learn this music and to perform is truly healing and so special. And the arrangements that Roy is creating alongside Spice and Brittany, their other partner, is just, it's true magic. And I can't wait for everyone to hear it and see it. So please
That's
tune
amazing.
in.
We love Uncle Roy and Spice.
Yeah.
We
They brought a
had-
similar
she
level of
said
positivity,
yeah, no,
which we
absolutely.
always enjoy.
And that's the goal here, is to keep having the kind of people that are doing such cool things, and like we're excited for you. You look amazing, and you seem so much brighter. So we're happy that you're in the place, and
Thank you so much.
We'll have you back again. It'll
I would
be
love
at
that.
some point. Yeah,
I would love that.
we'll have a circle back. So yeah,
Awesome.
thank you
Thank
for
you
coming
guys.
Thank you for
Yeah.
coming to the
so
Cody
much
Kai
love
Cast.
to both of you. And to you,
Listen.
Val.
Peace
Thank
and love.
you.